What is the worst Christmas present you have ever received? Story 1. I can actually answer this question with one of my presents this year. When I had gotten home from college, I found myself with some excess cash. I decided to invest in some new video games for myself and had them sent to my house. The strange thing was I had only received half of the games. I emailed the suppliers and told them I hadn't got my packages yet and was growing quite sad. Well, Christmas morning came around and I was opening up my presents. I got to the one for my older brothers. I tore the paper away and opened the box. Inside there were several other packages that had been mailed to our house, with my name on them. My brother had taken half of my games and hid them from me until Christmas. Worst present ever. Story 2. A fairly distant relative once gave me 3 promotional freebie vouchers for a clothes shop I didn't really like. Each gave 5 off a purchase per 50 spent. 15-year-old me didn't have enough money to be spending 50 on clothes in one go, and the vouchers had actually expired on December the 23rd. Story 3. This was actually really funny. It was for my grandmother. I unwrapped it and it was a little tin box. I opened the box and there was a fake gift card there, like an indication of this is where you put the gift card, and I just looked at her like, what is it or what's going on, and she goes, it's a gift card holder. You can put all your gift cards in there, and I just started laughing saying, no, you're supposed to put a gift card in here to give to someone. It was really cute though, bless her heart. Story 4. My mom is unbelievable. That got me an Xbox arcade for Christmas one year, like what the I wanted the 120 gigabytes Elite Edition U. I hope sarcasm conveys into text well. Story 5. A few years ago my aunt gave me a rock. She gave presents to me and my 2 older cousins and said it's time for the big girls to open their gifts. She made my cousins go first and they got scarves and I opened my present and pulled a rock out of the package and looked up waiting for her to laugh and she said, isn't it wonderful? So I had to be like, yeah, I love it. She then told me that she had dug it out of her garden the previous summer and she knew that I would think it is so cool. The following year she gave me acorn tops because some people know how to use them to whistle and I don't know how to show you or explain, but I'm sure you can figure it out. She is a tad eccentric. Both were pretty terrible presents. Story 6. I'm always grateful for anything I receive, so I wouldn't call this the worst gift, just the least useful. Every year for the past 3 years my boyfriend's mother gets me a brand new Black & Decker rice cooker. I don't even make rice that often but I now own 3 rice cookers. And yes, I act surprised every year. Story 7. Child of divorce here. My stepfather, when I was really young, got it into his head that he was supposed to replace my father. So when, at 5 years old, I refused to call him dad because I still had a relationship with my father, he got pissed and gave up on me. His entire family treated me like my younger brother, who was his kid, was thankfully spared, but I dreaded the holidays because of it. I distinctly remember watching my brother open piles of awesome presents only to receive for myself one of those cheap makeup kits from CVS dollar store and a used, open Jamaican Barbie. Her face was even scuffed. There is no better way to tell a little girl that you hate her than to give her a used Barbie. What kind of adult mistreats a child for something out of their control? I will never understand. My children will never be allowed to interact with him or his family. Story 8. Literally Cole, straight A student, never got in fights, helped in the community, never talked back, helped around the house and paid for everything I owned with jobs since I was 12. Sister got a Game Gear, dating myself I know, along with games etc. As her stocking stuffer, let along her other presents, I got a piece of coal. After the laughter died down, I asked if I could open my real presents to be told that was my present. When asked why and what I did to deserve it, I was told you didn't do anything wrong. I thought it would be funny, stopped holding my breath for sibling equality or even something resembling it after that. Story 9. Not a Christmas present and not for me, but about 10 years ago my parents' wedding anniversary came up and my father forgot to buy my mother a present. My dad was an alcoholic at the time, and for some drunken reason he thought that a trip to the liquor store would be a great place to buy her a present. He ended up coming home with a brown plastic bag that had a cheap ceramic clock that had scorpion statues on it. Forever went down in my family history as the worst present ever. Story 10. This year the big gift from my parents was a 5-foot-tall penguin statue. What am I supposed to do with that? It's not like my house has a penguin theme. The saddest part is I would feel bad getting rid of it because my parents were so excited to give it to me. It's now sitting in the closet of my spare bedroom. Story 11. Framed phrases from the Bible. Cheesy, doesn't go with anything in the house, and the frames and glass are cheaply made. Way to go mother-in-law who not so secretly hates me. Story 12. Well, it pales in comparison to having your dad leave you in a facility for months, but here's mine. My parents went on a cruise, and they won a whole load of money in the ship's casino. They bought me for Christmas a gigantic gold chain necklace, I mean Mr. T style, but with the thickest links I had seen with a matching bracelet. I have never worn any form of jewelry or anything around them, and never given any indication I would wear a thick necklace. I opened it and chuckled like it was a joke, but their faces said honest present. They left the price tag on it, and it was surprisingly expensive. They also told me how good I look in it, so I don't have the heart to cash for gold that. I've worn it twice, both times in a Flavor Flav costume style. Story 13. I received a Victoria's Secret backpack. I graduated college 2 years ago, have a career and am a frequent Victoria's Secret shopper, so I know for a fact they got it for free on one of their purchases. Story 14. One year when I was a kid, my parents bought me a computer mouse. What makes it bad is that I didn't have a computer, and had been asking for one for years. Story 15. I have gotten kitschy gifts from girlfriends, things like chocolate bars, and stupid books, and to be honest, I did not mind, if they took the time to put some thought into it, or at least write an adorable note. I was pretty happy. With that in mind, my worst Christmas gifts have come from Reddit gifts. During the book exchange, I got a used mystery novel nothing to do with my stated interest that came with a note: sorry, I am a poor college student and did not have the time or money to really shop. I stopped doing Reddit gift exchanges for a year after that. Then I joined up for the record exchange and hit the jackpot. I got 2 records that really matched my interest, and the person really put a lot of thought into the gift. Awesome. After the record exchange, I decided to give the Secret Santa exchange a second shot. I received a used comic. The list price was $2.99 new without any note. The strange thing is, this person spent $6 on shipping so it would arrive on time. I was pissed. I was not expecting an expensive gift, but was hoping for one with some thought behind it. If they sent a well-thought-out letter and 5 something homemade, I would have been happy. Sadly, I won't be doing gift exchanges after this. In case you are wondering, they never wrote a follow-up issue to the comic. It was a 25-page comic without any continuation of the story. TLDR, this is why you always leave a note. Well, this Christmas I received no presents at all. To add to that, my wife told me she was leaving me on Christmas Day, so my worst present is getting negative presents. FML. Story 16. Not necessarily the worst thing ever, but I still WTFD when I got it. The year before said Christmas my 3 cousins had got me a nice coat. It was actually a really good gift. I wear the thing all the time even now 4 or 5 years later. The very next year at Christmas they all got me the exact same coat. Literally the same except with blue striping instead of red. I was actually wearing the original coat that night when they gave it to me. I'm still not sure if they just thought, man, this is such a good coat. I bet he needs 2 of them, or just plain forgot they had given me one. I never said anything about it though. A gift's a gift. Story 17. This year my little brother gave me a wallet. Not so bad, but it was obviously about 10 years old and really just a crappy wallet. He is 9 and I know he was trying hard, so I thanked him and told him it was a great gift. Later that night he comes to me looking really troubled and confesses to me that he only gave me the wallet because he had been broke for a few months and hadn't used it. He also didn't expect to get money for Christmas, but he did, and now he was worried he was going to lose it if he didn't get a wallet. I gave him back the wallet. Story 18. I'm very agnostic. Last year I received a jewelry box that resembled the book The First Christmas, and even has the nativity scene on it. I was given a plethora of Jesus-themed bracelets and necklaces when opened, and there was even a Jesus-scented perfume inside that I've never even tried smelling. I stood holding TH gift in shock for a very long time, and it took every ounce of strength for me to not burst into laughter from feeling so awkward. Story 19. My family has a tradition of everyone opening one gift the night before. Usually my parents would pick which one, and it would usually be something small so that we'd save the big surprises for Christmas Day. One year when my brother was around 15, he was dead set on opening one specific present, and my mom gave in and let him choose that one is the one he got to open on Christmas Eve. He opened it, and it was a wooden box similar to this one. He was so shocked that it was just a box, and he kept yelling, "That's it, as a box," over and over again. I don't know what he was expecting to be in there, or why he wanted that specific one so bad, but he was very disappointed. Story 20. There are probably way worse, funnier ones than this, but Christmas when I was 7 or 8 was pretty bad. You know when you're a kid and you see a big present and you're like, holy, this gon' be good. Well, it had a huge gold bow around it in a giant box, so I was all excited and waited to open it last. It was a globe. A brown globe that you see in libraries. By no means was I a history aficionado at that age, and my parents knew I hated the geography subject in school. It wasn't a joke gift. They honestly thought I'd love it and it would be a great homework tool. Yeah, just what a kid wants for Christmas, something that refers to homework. It is still just a decoration on a mantle in our house, and I can't think of a single time in the past 20 years when I went home. Well, that's a tough question. Better consult the globe to be sure. Edit. It seems I have offended many globe fans. My apologies, just not my cup of tea. Story 21. I'm late to this, but I'll tell you my story. The worst present I ever received was a white button-down shirt by my grandmother. It was from Sears, and of actual good quality. It wasn't so much the shirt that was a problem, it was the fact that I was the only one to get a present. My brother and sister from a different father, but my father adopted them when he married my mother, and they still think of him as dad did not, nor did my stepsister or stepbrother. I was always the favorite grandchild. I don't even think my cousins got anything. Now, my siblings didn't care. We all knew how grandma was and she was old and we were expecting it. No big deal. My stepmother, however, did not understand. While I can see why she was upset, her explosion was not necessary. She was always trying to push me and my older siblings out. So she exploded. How dare my grandmother bring presents for one child and not anyone else? How could she possibly think that was appropriate? My grandmother fought back. She didn't have a lot of money and she felt bad not getting anyone anything, and her children have so much and I do not. We children sat there listening to all of this until my father yells at both of them, "Stop it," and slams his fists on the counter. It's Christmas. He stares at both of them for a few seconds, then gets his keys and drives off. My grandmother leaves shortly after. My father doesn't return until the next day. He had to work that night and calls my stepmother from work. He drove to West Texas from Abilene, Texas to see the snow. TLDR. Grandmother buys only me a present. Stepmom explodes. Dad takes off for the day. Story 22. When I was a kid, there was a toy truck that came out one year. It had lights and sirens. It was a police SUV, and would drive around randomly. It even had a recorder on it so you could record yourself talking and it would play back your voice while it did its thing. It's all I wanted as a kid. Christmas Day comes and I open my gifts and sure enough, it's there. I was ecstatic. I took it out the packaging, put the batteries in, and started it up. Ran great. Then I went to record my little 5-year-old voice saying something like "Stop in the name of the law," to be played while the siren and lights flashed. It wouldn't play it back. I tried everything. I was so upset my dad and mom couldn't figure it out. So my mom said that it must be broken, but she knew where Santa got it from, and we could get a new one the next day. Okay, I was a patient kid. I feel so bad for my mom. I dragged her out the day after Christmas to go to Toys R Us to get a new one. The place was mobbed, but I didn't care. I just wanted my truck so I could be like my dad who was a cop. We were there for a while, I'm sure, and eventually I get a new one because Santa called ahead and told them we were coming. Bring the new truck home, fire it up, and it doesn't play the voice back. Now my memory is hazy as I was only 5 at the time, but I remember returning and exchanging that truck several times, and even having my mom buy me a new one from Kmart and Caldors. Each one we bought minimum of 6 wouldn't play the voice back, or would, but it was so broken and garbled it sounded like it had been soaked in water. I was so devastated as a child. I had so many great gifts that year, and my parents are awesome. I don't want to sound like a spoiled brat, but I just wanted that truck to work. Eventually the toys were recalled because apparently it was a common issue, and that was that. I never got my talking police truck. Worst Christmas gift ever. Story 23. I got an expensive makeup kit from my SO's aunt. I don't wear makeup and I dress like a tomboy. She was my secret Santa and nowhere on my list was there anything to indicate that I wanted or would use makeup. There was definitely not a gift receipt involved. When I opened it she said, "Now you can look pretty." Now I stipulate no makeup on my list every year. Story 24. For White Elephant. I got stuck with an empty Pringles can with an empty McDonald's gift card. The spending limit was supposed to be 10 to 15. It wasn't even that funny or awesome. Story 25. For Yankee Swap this year I got a piñata and mini candy. Easily the worst gift. I decide to make lemonade out of lemons and put it together for everyone to smash. I start putting the candy in it and the girl who got it walks over, asking what I was doing. After I told her my plan, she looked at me incredibly confused and asked me why I wasn't taking it home to put on display in my room. Dead serious. I just kinda stammered out "Oh, that's a great idea, what was I thinking?" Worst part is my gift was this nice set of 8 different beer glasses for whatever type of beer you're drinking. I also threw in a Calvin and Hobbes book so it would reach the minimum money. She of course left with it. Story 26. A coconut. For real, my half-brother's granny used to bring him piles of loot from Florida for Christmas and nothing for me. My mother finally spoke up and said granny had to bring a gift for me too. Story 27. My grandmother always without fail gives me the most god-awful, ugliest shirts for Versine. To top it off, they are always like size XL or XXL. I'm a somewhat fit fellow, usually wearing a medium, maybe a large depending on the shirt. I see her often enough. She knows what I look like and even generally wear. God bless her for trying, but I'm always amused at how ridiculous the shirts are. Story 28. Stetson cologne. I think I was 12. Remember folks, when you have to give a present to a distant family member and they're out of pot of gold, give the second shittiest gift you find at the checkout. Stetson for men. Story 29. I only got an iPhone 5 and Kindle Fire. I wanted the new iPad. I hate my parents. My grandpa once gave me a roll of Looney's 25 wrapped in duct tape. Awesome yet worst gift at the same time. Story 30. I got this game called Find It. It's not a board game. It's a plastic tube filled with multicolored, tiny beads, and other random objects. You have to shake it and find the random stuff. That's it, but I got some super awesome stuff, so it worked out. Story 31. When I was 13 my parents divorced. My father never took care of the Christmas thing before. He had no idea what to get me and my younger brother. He got us pens, pencils, paper, staplers, staples, rulers, and the like. Not to be ungrateful, but it was the worst Christmas ever. Story 32. When I was 5, I was told the best presents were handmade ones. So for my older sister I decided to paint a picture of a dolphin, her favorite animal, on a piece of. It looked terrible and she obviously hated it. Young 5-year-old me didn't understand. I began to cry and asked her why she didn't like it. After being told it looked terrible and was stupid she threw it in the fireplace to use as firewood. It was a sad Christmas. TLDR gave sister piece of with a drawing on it. She used it as firewood. Story 33. There's no such thing as a bad present. Someone took the time to get you something, and that's the important thing. On the other hand, music DVD of a bad Norwegian artist I hate. Story 34. When I was 8, my aunt gave me one of those 20-in-1 board game sets. As a kid I thought it was pretty cool, but she's given me one every year since then. I'm now 18 and don't know what to do with 10 sets of Parcheesi and Chinese checkers. Also she has a beard. Story 35. My stepmom is one of the people that buy storage units. The stuff that does not sell in her store gets sent out as Christmas gifts. This year I got a Mickey Mouse snow globe from New Year's 2010, a Tamagotchi lanyard and a soap set that is missing most of the soaps. Story 36. I have an aunt who insists on giving everyone in my very large extended family Christmas presents even though nobody wants them. Some presents that my cousins and I have received. One. My 14-year-old brother got salt and pepper shakers this year too. I received gift card book of 1 McDonald's gift cards that was made out to her daughter. With only 3 inside 3, my cousin and her family came home to a garbage bag of presents that were soaked in dog urine. Most were stuffed animals. At least they didn't have to bag it up to throw it away for. The best, in my opinion, two brothers received a matching set of socks, one sock each. I'm away from family and friends due to work, so I got nothing for Christmas. Story 37. My great-aunt got me coat hangers one year. They were the metal ones you get from the dry cleaner with knitted covers over them. I was 10 at the time. Story 38. You want to know what I got for Christmas? Oh, it was a banner year at the old Bender family. I got a carton of cigarettes. The old man grabbed me and said, "Hey, smoke up, Johnny." Story 39. Not myself, but my girlfriend usually gets screwed. Her mother was originally from Kansas and they moved out to Massachusetts when she remarried her stepdad. Her mother is the black sheep in the family, she being the only normal one. From her grandparents she gets shirts from an online fat people catalog every year since she can remember. Her mother has told her grandfather over and over to stop, but they keep sending the same ugly clothes every year. Also, my GFS stepdad has a friend, Wayne, who comes over during the holidays. This is the guy who sleeps in the same clothes for 3 days in a row on her couch. He gets my GFS younger sister at least 150 worth of Harry Potter every year. My girlfriend, gift card to Dunkin' Donuts. When I was 14, I received exactly one gift on Christmas Day. My aunt had regifted me a pack. I was pissed. My father understood and took it off my hands, and I'm kind of thankful that he did. Story 40. An air guitar. My brother got one too. I wish I had taken a picture of my dad's face when we looked at him for an explanation after opening empty boxes. Story 41. My Aunt Donna was notoriously stingy at Christmas, and we often got whatever was available at the only thing open on Christmas in the 90s, convenience stores. My sister and I once received 2 chapsticks apiece. I was 13 and she was 9. Needless to say, Donna doesn't visit on Christmas anymore. Story 42. Hideous coffee mugs that say Mamacita and Papacito that she showed me months before and told me they were for our parents. I mentioned how ugly they were at that time. Story. A couple of years ago I was still talking to my insane, horrible sister. I was trying to be nice like my mom wanted me to be. Bad idea. So she calls me on Christmas Eve, right before my husband and I are supposed to go over and help prepare the food for Christmas morning, to say we weren't needed. Okay, later I'm drinking and my stomach area hurts a lot, so my husband is making me martinis and I finally say I'm hurting. We end up in a hospital and I have kidney stones. Horrible night. Next morning she calls looking for us. I say we were tired, we had a rough night. She says we need to come over and get our presents. Fine, we get there and my husband tells them why we didn't show up. Kidney stones, she says. That's not bad. It's not like giving birth or anything. My husband replies, already very annoyed. Yeah, but in her case she didn't go out and get herself knocked up. She gets up in a huff and comes back into the room with 2 small cardboard boxes, unwrapped and already opened. They were the horrible mugs. We left immediately. Story 43. When I was 14 my mother gave me a plush toucan toy for Christmas. It turns out she didn't even buy it. It was donated to her. My other siblings got reasonably good presents which she did buy. She then gave me $200 to go buy an iPod Nano, but took it off me 2 hours later and spent it on drugs instead. I was pretty devastated and haven't let her live it down since. Since then I've pretty much gotten IOUs for Christmas from her. Also this year I specifically asked my fiancé for Halo 4 and Xbox Live Gold for Christmas, and he still bought me jewelry. I don't even wear jewelry, but that's been my present from him for 3 years now. Edit clarity. Story 44. The worst Christmas present is more of a memory since there was the lack of present. My grandmother had a rough life and wasn't sure how to deal with it. She was bad with her money, a hoarder, and an alcoholic. She is much better now. One Christmas several years ago I'm picking her up Christmas morning for the yearly get-together. On the way to our house, she asks if we can stop by the liquor store since she can't drive there and it's been too cold to walk there lately. I oblige and she spends $30 on liquor. She then asks if we can hide it in the trunk so my mother doesn't find out. Okay, sure. Later, when we're opening presents, Grandma drops the line, "I wasn't able to get you and your mother anything this Christmas because I've been too poor. I feel so bad." Story 45. Not so much a worst gift as a worst wrapping opening. My family and I were having Christmas dinner and we had invited my boyfriend over. He was my first boyfriend. I was 16, so I was really anxious to come off as cool. At dinner my mom announced that we still had some presents to open. She had forgot about a box that my grandma had sent. So I get mine and it's a tube, like a small version of a poster tube. I open it and it's full of cloth. So I pull out the first thing, and 8 pairs of sexy underwear come flying out. My lovely grandmother had thought it would be hilarious to tie the underwear together, so when I pulled one out they all came out. I don't know who was more embarrassed, me or my boyfriend. Story 46. One year for my mother, she had gotten me a portable self-thumb war game. Pretty much hold onto the handle, turn it on, and this plastic thumb inside this ring goes up and down till you hold it down for 3 seconds. Worst gift ever. Edit found it. Story 47. Not Christmas, but for my girlfriend's birthday, her dad gave her a boating license application that she had filled out when she was 8, along with a very sloppily thrown together card. Christmas the year before that he gave her a very old box of chocolates. They were so stale that she ended up throwing the whole box away. Those have been the worst from him since I've been with her. Story 48. Hubcaps from my parents for a car that wasn't mine. I had borrowed one of their spares for a few weeks when mine was non-functional around Christmas time. It was missing a hubcap, so they bought themselves some hubcaps and gave them to themselves as a Christmas present through me because I only needed the beater for a few weeks. I didn't even put them on, just left them in their living room. My parents are also fond of the classic dish towels or underwear as a present fallback position. Story 49 The original Mortal Kombat movie, used, with damages on the packaging. I got it from my aunt who had recently inherited 100k plus a bunch of physical property. Story 50 When I was in first grade I absolutely loved Transformers. They were my favorite. Waking up and watching Generation 1 cartoons was the highlight of the week. I had a couple of the toys, like Optimus and a couple of the main characters. I always wanted Soundwave. His voice was so cool, easily my favorite Decepticon. Fast forward to that Christmas and we did Secret Santa in class. My mom went Christmas shopping and brings home my gift to give for Secret Santa. The name I drew was a boy I didn't really care for, but no big deal, not like she picked up something awesome. She gets the gift wrapped and I take it to school the next day. We all get our gifts and open them up. My mom ended up getting him Soundwave. I was a bit upset at first, but maintained my composure. It's okay, I'll plead with her at home later. I thought she knew he was the one I wanted so bad. Then I opened my present. It was a cup, a plastic cup with some generic cartoon characters on it I couldn't even recognize. The combination of hurt emotion and letdown were too much then. I broke down in tears. When I got home I told Mom that there must have been a mistake. Maybe it was the wrong box she gave me. No, but I'm sorry honey, she said. You'll talk to Santa and we'll see what we can do this year. I did not get Soundwave that year, or ever. Story 51 My grandma always gives very interesting gifts. 5 years ago I received a bottle of body wash, box of Lucky Charms and a ring watch. 4 years ago I got a trash bag. Her reasoning for the trash bag was that we had recently heard a sermon that this Christmas you should donate a bag full of items to those in need. The next year I got gifts that started with the first letter of my name. Extra gum I don't chew gum and eyeshadow I don't wear makeup. I will say, she's just trying to be creative. And I do love her and all her cookie gifts. Story 52 My family is notorious for giving bad gifts. My aunt gave me the game of pick-up sticks. Not only is it a real game but I have received it twice now from her. Story 53 My ex then housemate got supermarket value brand bag clips and ice cube trays from her then boyfriend one Christmas. He wasn't her boyfriend much longer after that. I was. Story 54 I once got a cover for a DS from my parents. Thinking well if they're giving me this, there must be a DS in another one of these presents, boy, was I sad that day. Story 55 A jar of pennies from my grandma. She said my grandfather was saving them for decades. I didn't see one with a year below 1990 and I got it in the early 2000s. There was exactly 10 in the jar, and it was in a coffee jar with an expiration date that was a few months after that Christmas. She went to the bank and asked for 10 in pennies. TLDR pennies. Story 56 When I was first dating my wife, she didn't have very much money but wanted to buy me a guitar. She found one in an antique store. I wish I had a picture. But imagine what a guitar would look like if you found one in the dump. Cracked, warped, that was horribly scratched, unstrung, missing pieces. I felt bad for her but it was less than useful. I think I put it in the corner as some sort of eclectic decoration until she left for college again then just threw it away. She did buy me a proper guitar after we got married, which now sits in the corner, unstrung with pieces missing. Story 57 A couple years ago, my older sister got a new laptop, my younger sister got a new iPod, and I got gloves. Not even nice gloves, they weren't even warm. Story 58 My uncle gave me a fox skin he cleaned himself. He got the fox off of the road, clumps of hair were falling out, and it smelled awful. I was 10 or so, and I threw it across the room and screamed in terror. I was very apologetic afterwards. That's a Bama Christmas for you, edit details. Story 59 This will most likely get buried. I was handed a photo album, expecting to see pics of my extended family. Instead, the entire album consisted of candids of me, 00. Story 60 I got Subway gift card from my grandmother with the words yes, it's real, written in the accompanying card. That was a bitter foot long. Christmas 2005, I'm 15, my younger brother, 11 at the time gets 100 in his stocking and 5 new games for his Xbox. I get a 25 gift card to Walmart. He was also presented with a 4-wheeler, a new 22 rifle he likes to squirrel hunt, a complete new wardrobe, I mean new shoes, pants, shirts, jackets, belts, etc. I get another 25 gift card to Old Navy, a pair of socks and a pair of shoes. Story 61 My deeply religious Catholic aunt gave me a picture frame that has been blessed by the Pope. It has some Bible quote on it. I was raised agnostic and have been an atheist for years, but I love my aunt, so I pretended to like it, went home, slapped a picture of my dog in it, TLDR, my dog is now under the holy protection of the Pope. Story 62 I am a huge Chicago Cubs fan and my grandmother ordered me a custom locker room photo for the Chicago White Sox. It was basically all the players' jerseys hanging on the lockers and my name was on one of the jerseys. The thought was there, but I threw it out immediately. I couldn't bear to see my name on a White Sox jersey. Story 63 My brother has been really into New Age stuff as of a few years ago. He knows I'm not, and am not religious, but he got me a picture of the Hindu god Hanuman. It looks like this. Story 64 My wealthy uncle once gave me his 10-year-old coat he found while cleaning out his closest. Another time he gave me the model of a car he just bought. It was an Audi or BMW, can't remember, but it was replica. The dealership gave it to him for free since he just dropped 50k on a new car. Story 65 I got an Eddie Murphy CD, not a stand-up routine like Raw, it was a music album. You think my girl wants to party all the time is bad, you should hear the other 10 songs. Story 66 Years ago, CDs were just becoming mainstream. My aunt and uncle who we viewed as rich at the time got me a present. The second I saw it wrapped I was 100% sure it was a CD. It had the exact dimensions of a CD. Anywho, I think I was getting a Sega Master System that year, so I was getting probably the second worst Christmas present ever, but no matter, as all I was interested in knowing was what CD I was given. Christmas morning comes and I make a beeline for the CD. I open it up and my world falls apart. It was a book, Irish Celtic Bronzecraft. I held it together but I nearly cried. Looking back now, I don't know what I was so excited, as we didn't even have a CD player. Story 67. My husband's aunt gave us these weird black hand-shaped bookends. They were a wedding Christmas present. They stayed in the car trunk for a year and then disappeared. I begged him to throw them away. I think he might have. Story 68. My wife's uncle gave me an empty CD case and said he was going to make a CD for me of cool music on one of my first Christmases with the family. I've been married for over 10 years. I'm still waiting for that CD.